Welcome back in to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Medic Regional Blood Center. You see the website right there. As we enter the new year, folks, make a resolution to donate blood this year. Medic Regional Blood Center provides dozens of East Tennessee hospitals with life-saving blood day after day, week after week, all year long. You want to help your community? This is how you do it. medicblood.org to learn more. All right, we've counted down the biggest UT stories of the year, and now we're down to number one. I gave it away because I think everyone would have guessed it in the last segment anyway. Football collapse, and for all the talk of seeing it coming, and I knew Butch Jones stunk, et cetera, fact is Tennessee had gone 9-4 in back-to-back seasons. That was the first time since 06-07. They'd finished in the top 25 in back-to-back seasons, first time since 06-07. They were preseason top 25 this year. And then it all fell apart. You made a bad hire with the offensive coordinator position. You had more injuries this year than last. I'm going to guess that's what it's going to show when Phil Steele's book comes out next year and he does all the math on that. I'm going to guess they led the country in injuries again. Very quickly, your thoughts on what turned out to be, by record, the worst year in Tennessee football history?
Well, it was a combination of a lot of things. I was actually looking at it, and I came up with 8 reasons why they lost 8 games this year. But the combination of the injuries, the coaching staff. I don't remember a whole lot of coaching staffs where you have like 5 or 6 new guys on a staff and all of a sudden things go smoothly well into your tenure.
Right.
And that's what happened here. So I think that with the injuries, the loss of impact players like Kamara, like Barnett, like Dobbs and Malone, they just weren't good enough to overcome all that.
Thoughts on this season and where it went?
I was surprised that I didn't see the offensive line being just a horrible liability. By November, that was a horrible offensive line, and injuries certainly had something to do with that too. But to me, that was the foundation that affected so many other things.
It was supposed to be the strength of the team, and if you go back to what we were saying in August, there was talk about, well, we haven't had a lot of continuity on that line, and we should have all looked at that. We flagged it, but I don't think any of us thought it was going to get as bad as it did. I mean, by the end of the year, you're playing walk-ons on your line.
I think a lot of it comes back to the inability of Butch Jones to take over his offense. It was his offense, and he could not make some changes to get that to where it could be. And then at the end of the season, it really was about the offensive line and who you had out there. And guys, you were closer to 2-10 than you were to 6-6. When I go back and look at that season, and you couldn't beat Florida when Florida was down, there's just so many things there that the change was inevitable.
Josh.
Replacing Josh Dobbs. I think a lot of people looked at it and said that's going to be really difficult. Look at the numbers, look at his production, look at how he could bail Tennessee out at times. And he did that in big games. And Tennessee's quarterbacks this year couldn't do that. And then when you take Juwan Jennings off the field, when you're trying to replace Josh Malone and Alvin Kamara, and from different points in time, Jalen Hurd, you're trying to replace all these different playmakers. That's when you look to your quarterback to step up and make big plays, and Tennessee couldn't get that consistently or really often at all this year.
I think a lot of fans went into the season thinking, now you're going to have a quarterback. You know, there was a lot of complaints about Josh Dobbs. He couldn't do this, he didn't do that. If there's anybody who saw their value rise a year after he left, it was Josh Dobbs. I think a lot of people came to the realization that, oh, he was kind of the straw that stirred the drink and covered a lot of ills. So, which is the case for a lot of good quarterbacks. I mean, you take good quarterbacks off teams, there's a reason the teams aren't as good when they go. Green Bay, without Aaron Rodgers. It happens. But Josh Dobbs' value, I think he's more appreciated in Knoxville now than he was this time a year ago.
He should be.
Should be.
Should be.
Can the other two of you just say should be, so we all say
yes.
it?
Should be.
Dilly. When we come
the
back,
pit of misery.
When we come back, we're going to say that's been 2017. We'll look ahead to 2018. When we come back, we'll toast off 2017. But also, who's going to be in the national championship game? How do the SEC teams do? How does Jeremy Pruitt do in the semifinals? And how much do you weigh the bowl record when looking at how strong the SEC is or other leagues? Come on back.